to the Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025 City Council meeting. Let's stand and have the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kelsey, would you take the roll?
Yes. Counselor Shriver. Here. Counselor Reynolds. Excuse, right?
Yes.
Counselor Sadowski.
Here.
Counselor Torres.
Here.
Counselor Knopfinger.
Here.
Mayor Burris. Out.
Excused.
That's not.
Okay.
We need to go through the rigmarole again of the chair pro tem.
And nominate
Okay.
Sandusky, chair.
So I will recognize the floor for nominations and recognizing Councilmember Knopfinger nomination of Councilmember Sandusky.
Second.
We have a second. Any other nominations or comments?
Questions?
Seeing none, we will call the question and go to the vote. All in favor, Councilmember Sandusky is serving as chair pro tem for this meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I noticed that Councilmember Sandusky abstained.
I'm not sure what to do.
You can vote for yourself.
Okay. I had one in after you said it.
Yeah.
I vote for me.
Aye. So unanimous. For the record, now you're in charge.
So our first item of business is approval of the minutes of our August 4th work session and regular session. First of all, are there any additions or corrections anybody wants to bring up? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve these minutes, please?
I move to approve the minutes from Monday, August 4th, 2025 work session and regular session.
Second. Got a motion and a second, any other discussion? All right, and all those in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
Stay.
Okay. The ayes have it, with one abstention. At this point in time, we're happy to hear from the public if they have any comment they'd like to make. Any person may address the council after being recognized by the mayor or a pro tem chair. However, topics which are under appeal or legal in nature cannot be addressed. Please state your name and address for the record. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have anybody here who would like to make a comment about something? Walker.
And now would be your time.
That's either or, so. Justin Oppenheimer, 208 Main Street in downtown. I'm here, just wanna, offer some information and, make a request regarding water rate increases. That is on your agenda for later this evening. I took a look at the water rate increase. Obviously, we all know, as the conversation has been, that there is quite a shortage in the city of revenue. And an 18% year-over-year increase is pretty high. But I'm not here to really debate the amount of the increase because I think there's an understanding of that department needs much. And it was pretty laid out pretty well. And email exchange earlier, Mr. Lewis, he provided me a report from the company, and it seems pretty clear. My concern with the resolution or ordinance in front of you, there for this evening is the length. I think that a 5-year rate increase of 18%, while I understand in the study that it gets you, they're putting money in reserves. I would recommend a shortened length of 3 years. My rationale for that is the document in front of you is really intended to show that out of 30 comparable cities, this is based on base rate and water cons, 1,000 gallons. We're currently 9th out of the 30. It would be at $56.44. Next year would be 7th. 2027, we would be sixth. 2028 though, we jumped to the third highest rate out of these 30 cities. In 2029, we jumped to the first highest rate. That is including if all of these cities did a 10% year-over-year increase. We still jump to the highest rate of these 30 cities. These 30 cities are between 3,000 and 10,000 population. That's the metric I use to figure out what cities to pull. I think there's some other discrepancies. I was just talking with Mr. Berger about this. There's some other discrepancies that just need to be looked at in kind of how equitable our water system is built. For instance, we're the highest,
You got one here.
we're the highest per con rate out of all of these cities. We would be way higher comparatively by 2029. We're almost 300% higher than the next or than the average on the per water rate. But yet we're the lowest when it comes to the base rate. Well, sorry, second lowest, third lowest being 0. So we have some discrepancies here where I think in 3 years, we come back to the table. It's not about it's not about generating revenue, it's about how we generate revenue. And I think that coming back into the middle, raising that base rate, bringing down the con rate or the increase on it, would be a far more equitable direction. So my ask of you is that when it comes time for resolution, 18%, you're not gonna hear anything different from me.
Time,
What you're gonna hear is 3 words, please.
may I ask the gentleman a question?
Sure.
Are you here as a private resident or representing the chamber?
I'll be here as a private resident tonight.
And then I just want to question where you got doing the math on your spreadsheet that you just handed out. I don't know where you got with 5644. We have many different rate categories.
So these are, sorry, thank you for asking that. So this is all based on the minimum, the residential, the
Which meter size?
5/8.
The 5/8. So my calculation on that, our current rate is 1504 plus 6,000 gallons. Would be at 4372, which is
So I'm on the,
5876, not 5644.
so you're, depending on how many cons,
Yeah, so you've calculated
I
at
mean-
6,000 gallons, so at a 5/8 inch, 1504 plus 6,000 gallons is 4372, right?
so I'm at the 2025.
This is the 2025 number.
The 2025 increase, I'm already.
Oh, you've already looked.
I'm anticipating.
That's why I'm just trying to check your math, that's all.
Yeah, so, you have the 3,000. So I went this number and 3, so 12.9 times 3.
Why 12.9 times 3 when the rate is 5159 when you get to the 6,000?
So it increases, well, so I could have went dollar for dollar, but so it's not per, that's the 6,000 to 7,000 range. So
Yeah,
it's
so
not,
if you're at 6,000 gallons, you're either giving me that rate or we need to take the 3044 rate, which is the 4,000, we give you the credit for the first rate.
so you give us credit for the first rate 0. Right, so that's 1290,
If you're between 3,000 and 4,000, you're telling me that this is at the 6,000 gallons. So if you use 6,000 gallons, then you're at 1290 plus 1775, that's still not $56.
so is this per, so maybe this is consumption rate per thousand, so is this for 4,000 to 5,000, so this is total in addition to?
Yeah, so we give you the first 2,000, so really, if you're at 6,000 gallons in total consumption. We're billing you at the $4,000 rate or the 4,000 gallon rate because we give you credit for the first 2,000.
Sure, so that.
So your math here is not correct.
Okay, so when I was looking at the per con. It didn't, that was not very clear on here, so I'm happy to go back and redo that, I don't think
Sure.
it changes much of the facts. But we can check it out.
I'm just making sure that we're talking out of
I
that.
figured there'd be some.
Okay. We said this at 5 o'clock tonight, so. I had a couple minutes to.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a hard decision to make. I'll just say that right now. Any other comments from members of the public? All right, hearing none, then under proclamations and announcements, we do have 2 proclamations. I've enlisted my colleagues, counselors, Garrett Knopfsinger and what's his name?
Councilor Torres.
Nick Torres, to read the proclamations. So whichever one of you wants to go first.
All right, I'll go first. Suicide Prevention and Action Month, whereas Suicide Prevention and Action Month proclaims serve to raise visibility of mental health and proactive suicide prevention resources in our community. It is imperative that we start these important conversations. Destigmatize mental health and suicide and connect people with appropriate support services wherever and whenever possible. And whereas suicide is a public health concern that can affect people of all ages, races, backgrounds, and can be defined as intentional and voluntary death caused by self-harm. And whereas according to American Foundation for Suicide, more than 49,000 people die by suicide annually in the United States. The average is 135 suicide deaths per day. And whereas many community members have been impacted by suicide, for every suicide death, approximately 135 people are impacted as suicide survivors. The number is most likely a low estimate, especially for tight-knit and smaller communities like those in Tillamook County. And whereas in 2024, Tillamook County had 6 suicide deaths, which is more than a 50% decrease from 2023. And as our county at a rate lower than the state of Oregon, we hope that Tillamook County Suicide Prevention Coalition, Tillamook Family Counseling Center sees a downward trend continue through efforts such as this proclamation and having more community members trained in suicide prevention measure. And whereas suicide deaths are preventable deaths, with effective behavioral health treatment and support, individuals who experience mental health challenges can recover and live free of thoughts of suicide. And whereas can be initiated through crisis hotlines, the Tillamook County 24/7 crisis hotline can be reached by calling 503-842-8201. The 988 suicide crisis lifeline can be reached 24/7 by calling or texting 988. The AgriStuff stress helpline available specifically for people in farming, ranching, fishery, and forest industries is available 24/7 by calling 833-897-247. And if you are experiencing mental health challenges, we encourage you to speak with our healthcare providers about local options for mental health services to learn about behavior health services provided by TSCC. Call 503-842-8201 or visit www.tsc.org for more information on the Tillamook County Suicide Prevention and email. Now therefore, we, the mayor and council of the city of Tillamook, Oregon, hereby proclaim September 2025 to be Suicide Prevention and Action Month in the city of Tillamook.
Thank you very much, Councilor Carter. And now Councilor Garrett.
All right, I'll do the National Recovery Month proclamation. Whereas people in recovery serve beside us in every sector of society as business leaders, public servants, community leaders, and more, they exemplify courage, hope, and resilience as they seek new beginnings and often lead others to pathways of healing by their experience and example. And whereas the 2022 National Survey on Drug Use and Health indicated that 60 million adults experienced mental illness in the previous year, with 16 million of those experiencing serious mental illness. 48.7 million people aged 12 or older had a substance use disorder, and about 13.5 million had both a mental illness and a substance use disorder. These figures mean that nearly 1 in 4 adults are struggling with mental health, and 1 in 5 Americans overall could be struggling with substance abuse, with millions facing both at the same time. And whereas millions of Americans are seeking recovery from mental health disorders, substance use, and or various addictive behaviors of other kinds, however, the statistics do not represent the countless individuals still quietly struggling. And whereas commitment, support, treatment, and resources can make recovery possible for everyone by helping those impacted, whether personally or by association, embark on a life of improved health and overall wellness. And whereas substance abuse, and mental health service administrations is a recovery minded organization that focuses on 4 major dimensions of recovery: health, home, community, and purpose. There are building blocks that every person needs to live healthy, happy, independent lives that enable them to thrive in recovery. SAMHSA provides education and resources on their website, www.samhsa.gov, to become involved, increase awareness of services, and encourage those seeking help. And whereas National Recovery Month provides a platform for educating communities about local resources, effective treatment and support programs, and Celebrate Recovery meets every Tuesday at 5:30 P M at 2611 Third Street in Talbot, and every Wednesday at 5:30 P M at 275 South Pacific Street, Rockaway, and the Serenity Club located at 512 Third Street in Talbot offers group supporting meetings of Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Dual Diagnosis Anonymous, Al-Anon, and NA bilingual Spanish. Their schedule can be obtained by calling 503-842-1115. And whereas National Recovery Month also serves to celebrate those new to recovery, as well as those who achieve the long-term recovery while continuing their journeys, to honor the loved ones who have offered support, to encourage those seeking help for themselves, and to acknowledge those who work in the prevention, treatment, and recovery fields. And now therefore, we, the mayor and the council of the city of Tillamook, Oregon, do hereby proclaim the month of September as National Recovery Month in Tillamook, Oregon. We further invite the community to observe this month by engaging in education and programs aimed at recovery, either in our community or through resources like SAMHSA.
Thank you, Counselor.
You got it.
We're very pleased and proud to be able to proclaim these worthy causes of suicide prevention and recovery from substance abuse, and all of the associated things that you just heard them read. So we'll now move on to new business in our agenda. The first one is a request to approve a resolution authorizing the signing of documents for a forgivable loan awarded by the DEQ's City Water State Revolving Fund. And that request, or that resolution, would allow us to accept the loan that's ready for us. Does that sound right?
Something like that. So this would designate, the resolution we have to have in place so that you designate the signee of the documents. I'll let Adam give us 30 seconds on, I told him 2 minutes, but it's really 30 seconds on what this project is and what this money goes to.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Sean. My time to speak keeps getting shorter and shorter. Thank you for allowing me to talk tonight about this.
Time's up.
Sure feels like it's on time. It took me a while to wrap my head around this. So it is a loan, but it's a forgivable loan. So it works, it's really a grant for the city, as long as we fulfill the obligations of the loan, which I'm confident I can do for us without any sort of penalties along those lines. This is gonna be for Basin 3 within the city, so we're going to be doing some design work on replacing our sewer lines and or lining them with a CIP liner. My goal is to have this be a bid-ready design. However, I'm going to need a few more grants to make that happen. Pursuing a $50,000 Business Oregon grant to make that happen. And come September, I'm pursuing, I believe it's around 100,000, but I'll have the exact number from USDA. So if I get both of those additional grants, it'll be a full design of Basin 3. If I don't, then it's going to be a partial design. So thank you so much.
Any questions? Before we go on to the actual adoption. That's the thing.
I was just gonna make a motion, it's
It's
common sense.
And, sorry.
Yes, we want that free money, to improve infrastructure, so I think it's a real no-brainer in my mind. So with that being said, I move to adopt resolution 081825 by title only.
Second.
Okay, Chelsea, would you read the,
I think we're gonna take the vote, do we?
I'm sorry, that's a different thing, forgive me. I'm new at this, only been here 30 years. So we have a motion and I think a second.
Question.
So question has been called for. All those in favor of approving resolution R 081825, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, the request for adoption of that resolution is approved. Go forth and do good.
Thank you. It
Thank you.
was a long time coming on that.
Sounds great. Next item under new business is a request to approve a resolution adopting a 5-year water rate schedule for users of the city of Tillamook water system. Inside and outside the city of Tillamook and repealing resolution number 1754. So, Sean, you have some things you want.
We do have some things we wanna talk about. I don't have anything to display for you, but there has been some minor changes to the ordinance once it was included in your packet. As is our practice, we send things to our legal office and they brought back some changes with some minor technical tweaks to the ordinance, nothing that changes the intent of the ordinance. Just some minor technical tweaks to make sure the resolution is clear as to what we're trying to do. And so really what it changes is the exhibits that we put in front of you today. Again, we're not looking to change anything of the numbers on this, but what we have is we have pretty basic tiers of water rates. There's a residential inside, this is what people use in their house, right? Then we have customers that do a residential or agricultural outside. This is the farmers watering their fields or folks that have large yards. And then we have the industrial and commercial rates. So the proposal from the RCAC, the Rural Community Assistance Corporation, told us that we needed to raise rates among all of our rate classes by a tiered rate in this first year, and that would be 5% on July 1 and then 10% in January. Following our budget hearings, we had a recommendation from the public to just rip the Band-Aid off and do a 1 increase. And because we've waited and we've missed July and August, and the earliest that we can send bills out on this is October, we've decided to just do the 18% across the board at the recommendation of the council. This would take effect in 2 different stages though, and this is where the technical change comes to the ordinance. The exhibit A of residential inside and residential / agriculture outside would take effect on the October bill, so that would be October 1st. The industrial and commercial rates, which is a different portion of the resolution, would take effect on December 1st. The reason for this is because we serve a number of outside water companies for their water needs. Now, we could, if the council were to decide, we could say that those impacts to those outside commercial users could take place at any time. But in deference to them and their customers, we wanted to give them as much notice as we could to affect their billing and their practices. I want to be clear, we are not obligated in any way to do this. It's just the kind and the right thing to do. I have reached out to all of our water customers, or most of them that I've been able to touch base with, to go through with them individually on their bills and show what the increase would do for them each evening and how that would affect their rates. So they can show how that passes on to their customers. And the majority of them have expressed, 1, thanks for reaching out to them because they haven't had that kind of service in the past. And 2, an understanding that the comment that I get most often, or that I got most often, was that's not as bad as we thought. So, and that includes the Port of Tillamook Bay and all the smaller water districts. So the tweak to the ordinance is that we've got 2 different rates that go into effect at 2 different times. Additionally, we've tried to make the public as aware of this as we can. In our water bills this month, and hopefully you open your water bills, there's a version of this flyer that got mailed out. Chelsea, do you have the actual one here, or is it still at your desk? Okay, we have this, we spent a little bit extra on our bills this month to put this flyer into every water bill. Explaining why we're doing this, what the need is, and when it will take effect, and we anticipate that would take effect in October. We are asking for to follow the recommendation of RCAC and instituting an 18% increase across the board. This is on every rate, everything. It is the most equitable way we can do it. We're not treating anybody any differently, depending on what meter size or how much water you use. It's just across the board increase. The exhibit you have in front of us shows what the current rate is and what the rate would increase each of the next 5 years. You can choose to do this annually. As staff, we felt we know what the recommendations are, we know what the need is. Again, this is kind of ripping the Band-Aid off and saying, we're gonna institute these in the dates shown. So we're gonna do it 1st of October, and then in July of each of the next 4 years, make these increases. We anticipate that between years 3 and 5, we will have another water rate study done. I can project that far. I think it's best practice to do this every 5 years or so. And hopefully, within those 5 years, we can show that we're doing right by the residents and our customers. If we don't do these increases, I just want to remind the council, we are operating at a close to a $2 million annual loss in our water utility. And if we do not do these increases by year 5, we will be insolvent and not be able to provide clean drinking water to our residents. This is not we'd like to do this or we want to do less. This is what we have to do to make sure that we are financially stable with the infrastructure, with the reserves that we need to have, and the funding that we need to have for our water utility. I want to add one other thing, and this is to Justin's comments earlier. In 2024, Bay City, as they were looking at their water rates, they did a study of all the water utilities on the residential rates for the base rate and then their costs going up. I just want to talk about base rates, the base rates that you pay to get water. And by the way, we don't pay for water what it actually costs. Water has been heavily subsidized across the country for years, for decades and generations. But Bay City did, what we have is our current base rate of $15.04 is $6 less than the current base rate or the 2024 base rate of Fairview. We are $6 less than the next highest water supplier in the county. Okay, we are the lowest by far. At the end of this 5 years, if nobody else raises their water rates, we're still the second lowest in the county. And I can assure you that everybody's gonna raise their water rates at some point in the next 5 years. Okay, the residents of Tillamook paid the least amount for water than anybody in the county. We also have to remember that that bill that we show that shows the $100 or whatever, that is water plus sewer. We have to look at water as its own individual thing, not the two. Where I live, I have to pay one company for water and another company for sewer. It's two separate bills. Here at Tillamook, it's combined into one. So that's the spiel that I want to give for that. Staff recommends that we adopt the resolution as proposed.
Any questions for Sean, comments from any other council?
Have a comment. So this is a really big decision, and we're missing the mayor, we're missing Councilor Reynolds, and we're missing, you know, the person that's gonna fill in for Ward 2. So when are we gonna know, like, when are we gonna vote on who's gonna fill in for Ward 2?
Applications are due Friday or Thursday, before the close of business. I can't tell you how many applications we've got so far. I don't think it's many. And
We
then
got at least one.
we're gonna bring those applications to you at your next meeting so we can discuss whether we need to do interviews or what. That would be your choice, but it would be the next meeting, that would be decided, what the further process is, depending on how many applications we get.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we table this resolution until at least next meeting.
Okay. Can I offer, Mr. Chair, can I offer just a warning and
Let's do it a second first before that.
I second.
Okay, yes, Sean.
okay. I hear you, Councilmember Torres, and if the council wants to choose to make that decision, that's fine. Any delay in this past this week we have to delay these resolutions by at least a month on the billing. Cause it takes us that long to get the billing set up and everything. So if you delay it from tonight, that means we can't raise rates until November first and then January first on the others. So I just wanna let you know what the ramifications of that are, and that's another month of lost revenue to the city.
Well, I think this is a pretty big decision. I'd really rather have Aaron, the mayor here, and Brian Reynolds.
I get that, and I'm not trying to pressure you any way, even though it sounds like it. But this is not the first time you've heard this. This has been a discussion for several months. The mayor and Brian have had opportunity to talk about this. This is not something that we're bringing this to you and saying rush this decision. We've already delayed this decision by hiring me and getting it on the stuff. This is not something, we got the support in May.
In one of the last couple of workshops, we went over this stuff in great detail.
Yes, we did.
And at the end, although it's not a vote, there was a consensus. Everybody's shaking their head to do it and do it all at once, take the Band-Aid off of each side.
Yep.
So whether you can't vote for Brian or Aaron, if they're not here, of course, but they were part of that general agreement already.
And just to be fair, the mayor wouldn't generally have a vote unless there's a tie anyway.
Yeah, but Brian's a big part.
Yep.
In our, you know,
And if you want to delay it, that's fine, we will delay it, I'm good either way. But I just wanna make sure you knew what the end result of that would be.
Right, so there is a motion second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling this for another month, was it?
well,
Or the
until
next-
next meeting.
Or till our next meeting, pardon me. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay.
Okay.
We shall move ahead a couple of weeks later than tonight. Yes,
What was your vote?
what was my vote? I didn't.
Oh.
Keep forgetting.
Are
I
you,
didn't think that the chair was supposed to because
You get a vote.
I do. Okay, well, I vote against the motion.
thank you.
Okay, we will bring this back to your next meeting, that's fine.
All right, and the third item under new business on our agenda is to discuss the potential budgetary changes that are necessary to provide for the ongoing cost of cleanup resulting from numerous illegal dump sites. So can you bring us up to speed on that?
Yeah. So in our budget, and this is me acting as the city's budget officer and my fiduciary duty to make sure that we are within the bounds that the council sets as the legislative body of what we spend. We have had a concerted focus over the last 6 weeks to spend time doing cleanup and an increased police presence downtown. One of the major cleanup areas that we've done is the Oakport and Sleuth. Where that camp that has been down there has been largely removed and cleaned up and we've taken, I think, multiple dumpsters of stuff out of that area. None of that is cheap. The line item for cleanup that we have is for all of cleanup, and this includes the RVs, the slough, is $5,000. And why we have not spent that, we're waiting on some bills. So in your ledger, it doesn't look like that's been spent yet. We have anticipated billing of much more than that to put the grader down into the slough. Each of these RVs, even though we've received several donations, the cost of cleaning up and towing, cleaning up, doing the asbestos test and all that can run between $5,000 and $8,000 and even $10,000 per RV. Okay, so I am not comfortable doing a large overspend on the line item of the budget unless I have the go ahead from the city council who sets the budget that I have to live with it. I fear, and the reason I brought this to you as a discussion item is that we've made a lot of progress, and I think if I could turn to Justin, I think you've seen an improvement downtown in the last 6 weeks. Thumbs up?
Yeah. No,
I,
that was my other treatment.
yeah. Yeah, I think we've seen lots of improvements. The mayor's commented on it. We're getting the comments from the community that they like what we're doing. It's only 6 weeks into the budget year. If we continue to do this effort, now some of the things like patrolling downtown, that's just, we can do that. That's not an extra cost. It's the RVs and doing the physical work, renting dumpsters, hiring a towing company to come out. That's what costs us money. As we continue to see these RVs dumped, we may not have the funds to remediate them, pretty soon. So if the this is much like the travel discussion that we had a couple of weeks ago. If the council wants me to overspend on a line item, I am happy to do it with your blessing. If you don't give me your blessing, I am not gonna overspend that line item by 1 penny. So I was just looking for council comment and discussion on if we wanted to see a future budget amendment for that line item and how much, if so, would you feel comfortable with spending on that? If any.
Okay, remark, yes.
So I'm comfortable with you overspending on that line item. You're gonna have to find it elsewhere in the budget.
Yes, we are.
And, you know, you're not filling Officer Newbauer's position. So,
That's different funds. Yeah,
doesn't, are the police paid out of the general fund?
This is street fund that the homeless stuff is. That's
Okay. I would volunteer to take money out of the council's fund.
okay, we can look at where that specific money comes from. I just wanted to make sure that if we did this, that again, you know what's going on in the budget and where we go with it. So Jamie and I can, if this is what the direction the council wants to go, and you give me a number, Jamie and I can work to look and see where we can pick a couple dollars out from different funds to see if we can make it work. But again, I don't feel comfortable as the budget officer. You give me the guardrails and I do my best to live within those guardrails, and live within the means that you have set.
Did you mention the amount 5,000 when we started this a couple minutes ago?
Yeah.
For a particular reason?
That's what is currently budgeted. So 5,000 is the current budget, but just the Oak Fork and Slough is gonna, what'd you tell me, Sean, we had another $5,000 to $8,000 of work down there.
Yeah,
Really great.
so we have ran all of our bills from cleaning out the homeless camp behind Coastwide. We just started the one in Oak Fork, which we all did, is the biggest one in the city. We had to reestablish a road to get access back in there with heavy equipment. And so that road is going to need some rock and stuff, so we can maintain patrols to keep them out of there. But we've hauled out multiple 10-yard dump truck loads full of garbage out of there. And those bills be thousands of dollars for disposals of that waste. So none of those bills even rolled out. My fear is we've probably already zeroed out that 5,000, we can then pay those bills. And I still gotta get rock back on that road so we can maintain access to keep them out of it. That quote was for a reduced price from SCP, where I think he knocked that 50% off since it's helping us out homeless, still came to 10 grand. So that's when I told Sean and Jamie, hey, I'm getting nervous here. We gotta figure something out. And I'm submitting all my bills and we're into 2 homeless camps and the year's just started, so. We're gonna have to figure something out. It's gonna be more than just a little bit of sacrifice from the council and their council funds. We're talking big dollar amounts that we're definitely not looking for. So.
Well, and that's the point of bringing it to the council, right? Is we're following council's direction to work on homeless issues. That is a council priority and council direction to me. We're focusing on it, we're doing it. But I don't wanna lose the progress that we've made. If you're not aware of what, again, the consequences of that action are. So, we don't have to make a decision tonight. I'm not asking you to make a decision tonight. What I'm saying is that if you want me to, we will bring back proposals on how to balance the budget if you want me to overspend that line item. And we can have further conversations as we go throughout the year.
I guess that's more or less what I was thinking, if we could hear from you.
how we want to
Beyond
end
the
the budget.
5,000 and where it come from.
Sure, we can do that, I'm looking for the, yes, we want you to continue doing what you're doing.
So is consensus all right if you're
Yeah.
okay with that, Derek?
Yeah, I just think that the public's made it pretty clear that it's an important thing, like, city manager said, we've made some good progress. I've seen a lot of positive feedback on social media and stuff. So I think if we need to overspend on this line item, then so be it.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay. Sylvia?
Yeah, I don't wanna stop the cleanup, I want it to continue.
Well,
We will.
Because it's gotten their attention too,
Yep.
and so some that get tagged, it actually.
Yep.
When we go there, they're gone, so.
Yep. We will continue efforts, we will do it the most cost effective way possible. And as a staff, we will look at our money and the budget and we can bring back some proposals later this year.
Okay, great, thank you. We don't have any pending business that I'm aware of, and doesn't have anything under that on the agenda. So moving on to city manager comments. He's going to talk again.
I don't have a lot for you tonight. I do have to point out some correspondence. You do have at your desk, there were individual letters and that little newspaper that was sent to you. That's all I'm gonna say about it is that was delivered. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
And then the other thing that I need some guidance on, and I'm okay just saying what's going to happen. But I want some nods from everybody. During the League of Oregon Cities conference, they have a Saturday morning business meeting. And each city has a vote and is authorized to designate a representative to cast that vote for the League of Oregon Cities. I'm assuming that the city council members and the mayor who are attending the League of Oregon Cities meetings will not be around at 11 a.m. Saturday morning for that vote, that we will have vacated the area. And so I am going to authorize myself to cast a vote on behalf of the city so that you don't have to stay where I was planning on staying anyway. Is that can I get a thumbs up
That's
from everybody on that?
pretty damn right.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for representing us. there.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, that's my comments because I had the whole meeting tonight and that's not how it should be.
Oh, you've done well, Grasshopper. Okay. All presentations listed anyway, council comments. See if Sylvia has some council comments.
I have a couple. I wanted to let you know that the Oregon Coast Scenic Railroad's gonna, so watch for an email. He's gonna send, the counselors, the mayor, and the city manager for their 100th anniversary. They're gonna, I think, maybe, free passes
Oh,
to
wow.
join. So I got them, everyone's emails today, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then the other thing, I know I should have brought it up to you, but the restroom down there on Front Street that's not open, I was just wondering if we could maybe at least put a sign that says it's closed, because I've watched personally so many people like just that are passing by and they stop, and some people are kind of handicapped and they get out. And then I've watched them walk around the building and then go down the stairs, and so I mean, at least maybe if there was a sign that says temporarily closed, or
I think we could probably make that.
I just feel bad that they
Yeah.
make the effort, and then I'm like, you know,
There was some.
cause I've been there when I need a restroom and, yeah.
Yeah, there was some on there that was the homeless haven there for a while.
You know, they just kind of look around the whole building and then they walk around the building and.
Yeah, you're,
Yeah,
we try to get somebody staffed. We need to get those back in Solomon.
yeah, I know.
But they're super expensive compared to the van was done in there. So again, that's another thing I don't have money for,
I know.
you know? Just there to make
I
sure.
wish there was a magic card that we could give to the.
Powerball's 1.3 million,
So they could use it. It's a tough, yeah,
Okay,
but I just feel bad when they park and they get out and so if somebody's kind of handicapped and,
Put some back up.
okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
thank you. Nick?
No comment.
Well, I mean, I don't agree with this one. You got anything, John?
I would like to express my surprise at being told to chair the meeting tonight.
And I was out of the park.
You did great.
So authorization to pay bills.
And bills will be authorized to pay the bills.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. All those in favor say aye.
Chelsea needs to do the call.
Yes.
Oh, it's a roll call vote, I apologize. Thank you for saying aye now. It's a roll call vote.
Counselor Schreiber,
Aye.
Counselor Sandusky,
Aye.
Counselor Torres,
Aye.
Counselor Knox.
Alright. Now we can close that, Billy.
And I think that takes us to the actual end, so I hereby adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Success.
So we have to put some place for you to sign on these two